Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. Please accept humble obeisance all to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the devotees who have come for today's program. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Sakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshadharine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thanks again for coming today's session. So this, as the heading goes, this is the introduction to Sanatana Dharma. So the essence of Sanatana Dharma. First we talk about what is Sanatana Dharma. So when you see the word Sanatana Dharma has two words. One is Sanatana, another one is Dharma. So first we have to understand that what is Sanatana and what is Dharma. Sanatana means, it's a simple Sanskrit word. Sanatana means actually eternal. That is the meaning of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal, which is always there. That is Sanatana Dharma. Then we'll go to that point called what is Sanatana. Then we'll go to what is Dharma. Before we go there, and I'm going to tell you how the session is all about. The session is all about we are going to present the whole thing based on the Shastra. If I'm going to talk to you something and you're going to reply me something, there should be some common parameter. Suppose I want to know the weight of the book, then what I should know is there should be we should have some common standard like kilogram or gram or some common standard. If you don't have a common standard, then I will talk my opinion and you will talk your opinion, and this will be simply waste of time. So when scholarly devotees, when they discuss this way. They discuss based on Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. So Shastras are the basics, That is why I'm going to, the first slide itself, I'm explaining you that whatever I'm going to explain you is logical presentation through the Shastric knowledge. So both will be Shastra knowledge, and that is explained with the logic. So this is why a scientific understanding of Shastric point of view. So this is the thing. And now when we talk about Sanatana Dharma, we saw what is Sanatana. Sanatana means which is eternal. Right? Now we'll talk about what is Dharma. When you talk about Dharma, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master says, Dharma means that is the original constitutional position. The original constitutional position is called Dharma. To put it in a simple word, I will say that, suppose the Dharma of a cat, suppose the cat, it can only meow, the sound it produces. That goat, cow, everybody is different. The dharma of a man is different. That is a constitutional question. Just like we can give an example. One man can talk like so many people. They call it as mimicry. So I can talk like Obama. I can also talk like a Modi. I also can talk like a different leaders. I also can talk like Prabhupada, but when I am put into real difficulty, I will shout in my own voice. I will not imitate in some other voice. Because even though I am trying to imitate this or that or this or that, but my original position will come out at the correct time. So we are actually not happy in life because we do not know what is our original position. We don't know who we are. That is why we are suffering. So when you talk about Sanatana Dharma means, the meaning of the word Sanatana Dharma is your original constitutional position, and that is eternal. That is why it is called Sanatana Dharma. My Dharma, my constitutional position is eternal. That is enough for now. There are more deeper meaning to Sanatana Dharma. I'm not going there because I don't want you to believe anything. I don't want you to believe anything. I'm not here to impose some views on you. I'm not here to impose Krishna, or I'm not here to impose chanting. I'm not here to impose Vaishnavism. I'm not here to impose anything. I want you to realize everything yourself. I want you to validate itself. That's why for this meaning of Sanatana Dharma is sufficient for now. Sanatana Dharma means the eternal constitutional position of you. That is the meaning of it. So my real self, in other words, in a simple language, my real self, my real position. That is the simple definition of what is Dharma. Right? And I want to repeat again, and I want you to take notes because there will be an examination after the session, and not now, after the 7 days we'll be given some time, 10 days time, then there will be a test. You need to appear for the test, and whoever pass will be given certificate. Whoever receives certificate, they will be qualified for the next level. There are different levels in this course. Okay. That's why you take notes. What is Sanatana, what is Dharma, it will be like that. So you take notes. So now we know what is Sanatana Dharma. Then we talk about there are different types of Dharma. Just like there are different types of Dharma. Suppose I'm there, I am a son. I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. I'm also a disciple. I'm also a student. I'm also a citizen of a country. I am a man, I am a friend, I am an uncle. So likewise, I have so many responsibilities I have, so many dharma I have. Just like as a dharma, I have to be obedient to my father. As a dharma, I have to guide my wife and children. As a dharma, I have to follow the instruction of my spiritual master. As a dharma, I have to guide my other junior devotees, whoever it may be. So likewise, we have different kind of dharma. Suppose you're working outside, that is also your dharma. You have to work, you have to earn money, you have to give for your wife and take care of your wife and children, take care of them. Likewise, we have different kind of dharma. But what happens? Sometimes there is a clash. The dharma, there is a clash in dharma sometimes. That is why of course, we'll be discussing about this in tomorrow's class. How the Vedas are divided, how the Vedas are divided, different portions like Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Bhakti Kanda. We'll be discussing all this tomorrow. But these kind of dharmas are explained in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. For example, we will go to the life history of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is a humble, obedient son for Hiranyakashipu. Even though he is Asura Varya, he is the topmost demon, but still his son is a devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, but still he is obedient to the father. And he has love for the father. He has respect for the mother, everybody. But when the same father is telling Prahlad, do not chant Narayana's name, you chant my name. Now what happened? There is a clash between two dharmas. Now, as a son, he has to do what the father says. As a soul or a part of Krishna, and he has to do the original position, that is to serve Krishna. So now, as a son, he has to chant father's name. As a soul, being part of Paramatma, Krishna, we have to chant his name. So now what happened? That the clash in dharma. This we have to understand. This is not only for Prahlad Maharaj, it happened to us also. Sometimes our duty as the husband, duty as the son is a fight. It's clash. Because my wife wants me to do something, my mother wants me to do something. What I am going to do? There is a clash. That's why so many times, so many problems happen in so many houses. That's why we see here, when you talk about dharma, and there are different kind of dharma, and there is a clash in dharma. So now we have to understand what I should do. That is why here, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse number 6, it explains about something called Parodharma. This is what it talks about what? Parodharma. Parodharma means, dharma means your constitutional position, and here Bhagavatam talks about the paro dharma, the topmost dharma, which cannot be compromised. That cannot be compromised. That is called paro dharma. I'm repeating, there are different kind of dharma for us, but even though it is there, but this one cannot be compromised. That is what the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 6th verse, it says, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adokshaje ahaituki aprahiyata yayatma suprasidati. Suprasidati means happiness. Suprasida. Prasida means happy. Suprasida means so much happiness. That way Prabhupada says satisfied. The translation goes like this. The supreme occupation, see Parodharma, supreme occupation for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such transcendental service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. This is Bhagavatam says. Even though there are different kind of dharmas are there, but that paro dharma, the supreme dharma, is to serve Krishna with loving devotional service. If you do not want to accept Krishna as the God, it is okay for now. I'm not here to impose the view on you. For now, you can keep him as a God. When we go further sessions, we'll understand who is God. Okay. So now the topmost dharma of the living entity is to serve the Lord, the Supreme Person, by devotional service. Bhaktir means what? Devotion. Adokshaja means a transcendental Lord who cannot be conceived by our material senses. Right? Ahaituki, aprahiyata, these are not required for now. But what we understand is that paro dharma of the pumsam. Pumsam means a human being. It is to have bhaktir ajokshaje, to have unflinching faith that the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understand? So that is what we should understand. There are different kind of dharma. And then you should understand what is paro dharma means, that you cannot compromise. That is why Prahlad Maharaj did not compromise. He said, my duty is to chant Narayana's name. That cannot be changed. There are so many examples like that. Even the Sanat Kumaras, when Brahma asked them to get married, they don't want to get married. They want to engage in devotional service. But Brahma cannot say anything, because whatever the Kumaras they talk, that is their paro dharma. Wherever Brahma is talking, that is about material dharma. That is different. Then this Bhagavatam also says that in 1:1-8, it is explained that dharma swanustitaha pumsam visvakshena kadasuyaha notpadayet idiratim shrama evaihi kevalam. If suppose I am not engaging in service, that in service of Krishna, that's last verse, we saw that that supreme occupation is to serve the Supreme Lord. But here, what if I am not doing? It explains, Sloka says, the occupational activities of a man performs according to his own position or only so much useless labor. You see, Shrama means useless labor. If they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So it means your constitutional position as a father, mother, as a husband, this, that, whatever it may be, that should ultimately provoke attraction for the message of God. If it is not provoking, suppose I am a husband, I am not guiding my wife to be a devotee. I am a father, I am not guiding my children to be a devotee of the Lord. Then you are simply what? Shrama evaihi kevalam. In other words, you are simply wasting your time. Okay, then we come to that. Okay, now we understood what is dharma, what is paro dharma. Then we know what is sanatana dharma, right? Now we know what is sanatana dharma. That is to understand my eternal constitutional position. That is sanatana dharma. So now how to understand sanatana dharma? Or how to understand about myself, how to understand about the goal of my life. Whatever it may be. Maybe who am I, who is God, what is my duty, what I should do, whatever it may be. But now there are different versions here. Whether I should believe or I should feel. In other words, experience. It's not feel, it is experience. Experience is much more better word than feel. I'll change this word. Experience. Because in modern days, people ask the question, do you believe in God? Some say yes, some say no. But what is the use of your belief? Do you believe that sun will rise tomorrow? Do we ask like that? If someone asks you a question that, do you believe that sun will rise tomorrow? Then you will think he's a crazy fellow, is it not? You will think that he's a crazy guy. He's a crazy fellow. He's asking whether, do you believe the sun will rise tomorrow or not? I don't believe. Because I know for a fact that sun exists. I know for a fact the sun rises in the east. I know for a fact that sun rises every day. In that case, I don't believe. Suppose if someone come and tell me that you don't have hands, I'll give a slap on their face and I'll show, see, this is my hand. So now in modern society, people are so lazy. I repeat the word. People are so lazy to spend their time on spiritual seeking. They really don't care about spiritual life. They are so lazy. What they do, they believe on this. I believe this God. I believe that God. I believe Jesus. I believe Allah. I believe Krishna. I believe Kali. I believe Shiva. I believe me as God. I believe that Baba as my God. So many things. But we should ask the question, see, there are so many ladders, there are so many ladders here. Does all the ladders take you to same place? That's a question mark. Is my belief right? Am I going in the right track? Is my spiritual or material activities, Vedas are not about, Sanatana Dharma is not only about your spiritual life, it is also about your day-to-day life. That's what I showed here. It is about your life. Your life should be balanced by the Shastra. You should know how to balance your life through the eyes of Shastra. That is why it is called Sa-astra. Astra means weapon. It's a weapon. To counter something, to fight something, we always need some weapon. And similarly, to fight this material existence also you need weapon. That is why it is called as Sa-astra. It is actually Astra. And the Shastra is the basis. We'll come back here. Now we are asking that, am I on the right track? Is my belief right? Am I going on the right direction towards God? Is my motive is right? Am I going in a proper direction on happiness? After all, we need happiness. Why are we going to work? Why are we getting married? Why are we getting children? Why are we collecting money? Whatever you do, it's all for happiness. Please mute yourself. You're not talking. So now,
your sound is breaking, Prabhu.
Okay, may I know who is doing that service? First service? I see somebody is doing. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So, okay. So now we should ask the question: am I going on the right direction on my belief? That you should ask. Okay. Now, again, everything we are talking about is experiencing. We are going to talk about experience or feel, logic. Then we will come to the point: animalistic life versus human life. These modern scientists, they say that humans are animals. Is it not? They are saying that humans are animals. We are also animal. They are also animal. According to the scientists, we are animals. But now we ask a question. Suppose if someone come and scold you or a dog, we get angry. Why? You are not animal. We are not animals. We know that for a fact. If someone say you are a pig, we get angry. Because we are not dog, we are not pig. We are not animal. So now we have to see whether are we animal or not. That we have to see. Okay. This is the version of scientists. The modern scientists, this is the version. They're saying that the animals are eating, the animals are producing, procreating, the animals are sleeping, and animals are defending themselves, and the same thing human also do. We also eat nicely, In fact, better. We also have sex nicely, better, better than them. Because animals have sex only when they need to procreate, no? But human being, they created so many things to have so many ways of sex. When they are not satisfied and having sex with man to man, woman to woman, everything. And third thing, we are also sleeping better. We have a nice king size bed, queen size bed. We tried everything to sleep. And then defending, we have a skyscraper building, so many things. In this way, we are animals. Like we are animals. This is what the version of scientists. But the Shastra also says a similar thing, but there is some extra informations are there. The same thing you see, Hitopanishad. It is one of the Upanishad. Hitopatesha. It is mentioned that Ahara Nidra Bayamaitunam cha Samanimetat Pasubirnaranam Dharmo Hitesham Adiko Vishesha Dharmena Hina Pasubir Samanam. This is Hitopadesha. You see, the word ahara means eating. I'll read the translation. Eating, sleeping, sex, and defense, these four principles are common to both human beings and animals. The distinction between human life and animal life is that a man can search after God, but an animal cannot. That is the difference. Therefore, a man without that urge for searching after God is no better than an animal. That is why the scientists, they say we are animals, because the scientists do not advise you to go to God. They are telling you how to enjoy your senses. If you enjoy animals, you are just animal. Ahara, nidra, baya, maitu, sama. Sama means sama. Samanya metat, pasu vir naranam. Animals and nara, pasu, equal. But dharmo hitesham. Dharmo hitesham means dharma. See, again we are coming to the same point. Dharma. What is your constitutional position? You should spend your time on that. Who am I? Who is God? What am I doing? Why am I taking birth? I mean, that kind of research has to be done. Dharmena hina. Hina means you fail. If you do not do this research on dharma, then you are animal. That's what Shastra says. That's why the scientists say we are animal, but Shastra say if you enjoy your senses, you are animal. But if you research about God and yourself, you are not animal. Definitely, this 40 people who is attending the session today, they are not animals. You guys are not animals. Because you have come here to research about Bhagavan or myself, then you cannot be animals. Okay, now we cleared one thing, that animals and humans, we are same. We look alike. We also grow, everything is same. But we are not animals. That we clarified. Difference is there between animals and human. Difference is that we clarified. And now we come to the next point, living body and dead body. I mean, she is dead. They both are living. I mean, but for me, I see the eyes, I see the nose, I see the ear, I see the hands. She also have the dress, and they also have the dress. They have hair. I mean, everything is there. What is not there? What is missing? That you should ask. That is why when Yudhishthira Maharaj was questioned by Dharmaraj, what is the most astonishing thing in the world? Yudhishthira Maharaj said, Ahani ahani budhani kasidhimalayam. It means every second, thousands of people are going to hell. I mean, Yamaraj's court to get the judgment, whether they have to go to heaven or hell. They go to Yamaraj and Yamaraj decide it. But the astonishing thing is that, see, this lady, she do not think that she is going to die also. They don't understand that they are also going to die. That is the most astonishing thing in the world. But of course, that's a different topic. But the topic here is that, what is the difference between this person and that person? What is missing? She called that person as a mother. Even now also she called her mother. But why is she trying to burn her body? Burn herself? We don't say body for now, We don't know who we are. So why she is trying to burn her mother, whom she was giving food yesterday? She gave food yesterday, but now she's going to put the fire on the body, on her. Why? So definitely there is something is missing. Something is missing. So we have to understand that whatever is missing in the body, that is me. Whatever is missing in the body, that is me. That is logic. It is not about some Shastra or Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. It is not like that. It is not like that. Right? Yes, as Dheeraj says, the soul is missing in woman's body. Right? So, now we go to the next slide. Then we understand that birth is not the end. Death is not the end. Birth is not the beginning. So even though, again we come to the point. So what is that? That is whatever is not there in the body, that is soul. But we don't accept it now. But we'll research, because this whole session is about logical way of understanding things. We don't understand your soul. For now we understand that whichever is not there, that is me. It means we are not the body. If we are not the body, who am I? Then we say that my mother left. Where did she go? Then we say that my son have got a baby. Where did the baby come from? My daughter has given a birth. From where the granddaughter has come? How did she give birth? From where the baby came? That's why we say that death is not the end. Birth is not the beginning. How to understand that? That will go further. We'll go further and understand. Understanding birth and death. Actually, Shastra says that birth is the birth of the body. I'm sorry, this understanding of birth and death, I put as a birth and birth. Typing mistake. Please read it as understanding birth and death. I'm sorry for that. So birth means it's a birth of the body. Death means it is a demolition of the, destruction of the body. That is death. That we have to understand. She's getting, the soul is getting a body and soul is leaving the body. That you have to understand. This is one life. This is one life. We take birth and then we grow. And then gradually we become, then we grow and then we also deteriorate, we become old and then we die. But this is not the end. This is what I'm trying to prove you now. This is not the beginning, this is not the end. How? The soul is always changing the body. The scientists say that the body is growing, right? We heard always that the soul is, and body is growing, right? See, the boy has grown up. The girl has grown up. Oh, you have grown up so much. Actually, I don't grow up. I changed my body. This boy has given up this body and accepted this body. This boy has given up this body and accepted the same thing this way also. Because the cells in the body, according to the science, the cells in the body, they are not growing. The cells are not growing. The old cells are getting destroyed and new cells are created. This is science. So if something old is going and new is coming, how it can be growth? How do you define growth? Hair is growing, right? Hair is growing. Nail is growing because it is just increasing in size. I'm just giving examples here. But this is not growing. Because the old things are dying and new things are coming up. So what we have to understand that in one life only, the soul is changing the body. The soul has changed the body from this body to that body, this body to that body, this body to that body, this body to that body. In all the way, the soul is always searching happiness. What we are trying to do? What we are trying to do? Why you are trying to go to college? Why you are trying to go to school? Why you want to get married? Why you want to get a job? Why you want to get a car, a house, whatever it may be? Why? Everything is to be happy. That's the purpose of life. The purpose of life is not to get married. We want to get married because we think that will give happiness to us. The purpose of life is not to buy a house. We think that if I buy a house, I'll be happy. Same thing for everything also. But the point is that the soul, I always want to be happy. I want to be happy. So what I do, I always change my position, keep on changing, keep on changing, keep on changing. I'm trying to explore newer and thing. But unfortunately, what happened is that when you get old body, what happened is that you cannot get happiness. Whatever this boy can do, this young boy, youth, whatever he can do, he cannot do. Just like I'm giving an example, in India, you can see that sometimes we run and catch the running bus. Suppose I'm late, the bus is moving and I cannot wait for another bus. What I do? I just run and capture the bus or train or whatever. This boy can do, but this man cannot do. He can get some happiness in sex life, but this man cannot have. Same thing in all ways. So what happened is that I when I get old body, I give up the body because I know that this body cannot give happiness. Then I continue my journey by going into one more mother's womb. I'm going to one more womb. That may be animal womb or human womb. That's all we are not covering today. Okay, the thing is, the journey is there that we are trying to prove. That is also, now we saw the logic, now we see the Shastra. Chapter 2, verse number 27, Bhagavad Gita. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mrityascha tasmat apariharyarte natvam sochitum hargasi. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, for one who has taken his birth, death is certain. If you take birth, you have to die. And for one who is dead, birth is also certain. If you die, you have to take birth also again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Na sochitum, na tvam sochitum argasi means, do not worry. This is part of life. You have to take birth and you have to die. If you die, take birth. See, death is not the end. That's what we cover here. Death is not the end, birth is not the beginning. Chahatasya hi dhruvo mrityu dhruvam janma mrityuscha. That we saw practically, now we saw by Shastra. Then we have to understand, let us go deeper into body. Understanding the body, sixfold changes. Okay, every living body, be it human, animal, bird, tree, reptile, or any other living body, undergoes 6 kinds of changes. It is not only for humans, it is for all the living entities. First thing is birth. Next thing is growth. See, we grow here. Of course, growth means technically it is body change. At least we can see that there is some growth. Visually, there is a growth. The cell is also growing. But if you go deeper, it is changing. But overall, if you see, it is growing. Birth, and then it is growing, and then it is maintained for some time. This is a maintenance. It is getting maintained for some time. And after maintenance, you produce children. And after produce children, then you start dwindling. Then you become old. Then finally you die. This is for the birds, trees, animals, and everybody. Who is not? Everybody. Everybody is going through this. Clear? So what we see that this body is always changing, but I am not changing. Let us see this one first. So now, same thing is told by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatra na mukhyati. Bhagavan says, as an embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. When you die, dehantara. Dehantara means when the anta means the end. When you have to give up the body, then you also go to another body. Just like in this life, you are changing from boyhood to youth, youth to old age, and similarly, the soul passes to another body at death. When you die, then you have another birth is waiting for you. Why? Because the soul, that is myself, I always trying to be happy. I'm not happy in this life, I'll try that life. Right? Suppose you have a house, you don't like the house, you demolish the house, you go to new house. I don't like the house, I'll go to another house. The thing is, the house is the place where you're living. House is not you. What you're doing in the house, I'm trying to be happy as a husband, as a father, as a mother, as this or that, or different positions. I'm trying to be happy in the house. But the reality is that even though I keep changing my position, I don't stop my search of seeking happiness. So who am I? I don't know. We'll see later. Who am I? I don't know. But the thing is, I'm trying to seek happiness in different body. In this life, I tried, not happening. My body became old. Okay, I'll take next life. Same thing, explaining Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya, sitoshna sukha dukkada, agama apayino nityas, tam stiktashva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course, or like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season, they arise from sense perceptions. So, son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate without being disturbed. So, it's all sense perception. We think that there is birth. We think that there is death. We think that I'm happy. We think that I'm not happy. These are all sensual perceptions. But actually, these are not true. Then who am I? I'm not the body, right? Because the body is always changing. Are you changing? You ask yourself. How old are you now? I'm 30 years now. Before 10 years, I was 20 years old. What you're doing? I was in my hometown. Now I am in city. I'm working. So now you got different father, mother? No. You got different brother, sister? No. You don't think that way because you think that I am not changing. But your body is changing. So the changing one cannot be you. Then now we come to the conclusion that you cannot be body, right? Now we don't know who we are, but at least we know that we are not the body. But the unfortunate thing is that in whole life, I am trying to be happy by giving happiness to my body. Let us remember this picture. Remember this picture. Whole life, I am trying to give happiness by giving sex, by giving food, by giving drinks, by smoking, by doing all kind of criminal activities, by taking others' money, by spending cars, spending money, buying car, bike, whatever. In all ways, we are trying to give happiness for the body. But now, with logical and shastric perspective, we understood that we are not the body. It means I am claiming a wrong ladder. That is why we are not able to be happy. We are not able to be happy because we don't know who we are. Okay, then maybe I mind. There are other things are there. It is not, okay, now am I the body? Science of self-realization. It means you're trying to realize yourself in a scientific way, logical way. We gave up this point. We give away. We cannot be body. Finish. Mind is like a monkey. Mind is always changing from here, there, here, there, here, there. Sometimes your mind is say this is good. Sometimes your mind is say this is bad. That is also changing. How it can be you? Intelligence also same. Intelligence is something you possess. You say it's my intelligence. It's not I intelligence. It is my intelligence. It's my mind, my body. We don't say I body, I mind, I intelligence. So we rule out this. Body is changing, mind is changing, intelligence is also changing. But I'm not changing. I'm not changing. Understanding the fact that I don't change. You understand this? I don't change. I don't change. Am I body? No, we ruled out. Am I mind? No, we ruled out. Am I intelligence? No, we ruled out. Then who am I? The Shastra say, you are soul. How to understand soul? This is represented by consciousness. How to understand? Consciousness. What is missing here? The consciousness. She don't understand what she is doing. She don't understand that she is doing something on the body. She does not know anything. She has no conscious. Even if you give a slap, or even if you burn her, or even if you bury her, she's not going to care. She's not going to oppose. Consciousness is left the body. That soul left the body, and how to understand is that by consciousness. There is a difference between living body and dead body. So I am the soul which is represented by consciousness. Okay, that we come to the conclusion. We come to the conclusion that I am soul, which is represented by consciousness. Now my consciousness is only changing from this body to that body. Here also same thing. This boy was conscious about who is his mother. Conscious is past from everywhere, and whoever this boy thought as the mother, he also called the same person as the mother. Whichever this boy thought it is his house, he also think that this is his house. And whoever he thinks as his wife, he also thinks the same person as his wife. So the consciousness is moving from one body to another body. Now we'll go Shastric way. Now we saw logical way. Now we go to Shastric way. Avinashitu tad viddi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasam avyayasya na kaschit kartum arhasi. Know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. You see, that is why we say consciousness. Where is the consciousness? Consciousness is spread throughout the body. Suppose if we hit our leg, blood come from the leg, but tears come from my eyes. Brain starts thinking how to do. Mind starts feeling, oh, I have pain. I hurt myself. The intelligence starts thinking, where is a doctor? Where is the first aid kit? The hand goes to the leg and hold the leg. And we put bandage. Eye sees, ear sees, ear hears, and nose smells, everything. So it means the consciousness is pervade the entire body. Avinashi. Tad tutat viddi ena sarvam idam tatam. The full body, the consciousness is spread. And vinasam, it means it cannot be destroyed. The consciousness is indestructible. It means soul cannot be destroyed. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. Na kaschit karmasyati means na kaschit kartum arhati means nobody can destroy the soul. Nobody can destroy the soul. That's what we see here. Go next sloka. Na jayate vriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityah sasvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, na jayate mriyate. Ja means janma. Mriyate means death. Mrityu. Ja mrityu. The soul has no birth, no death. Logically we saw, in the search of happiness, the soul is always changing the body, and similarly, just like in one body, the soul changes the body, at the death time also the soul changes the body. That is death, we saw. Now the same thing is being explained here by Krishna. For the soul there is no birth nor death. Nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. It is not that soul was not there before. No, before it was not there. Suddenly, no, it's always there. It's always there. And it is not that, okay, the soul is going to finish after this, destroyed after this. No. Nor he ever ceased to be. He's unborn. Ajo. Ajo means aja. Ja means Janma, Aja means no birth. Nityaha means Sanatana, eternal. Shashwata means ever existing. Purana means is very old. Hanyate hanyamane sarire. Sarira, if you destroy the body, the soul cannot be destroyed. Suppose if you kill your body, the body will be there. But you left the body. You are not destroyed, you just leave the body. Then you go to another body and continue your search for happiness. Until you get happiness, you are not going to stop. That's why the Shastra says that Athato Brahma Jignasu. What I should do? Then you should ask question about God. Athato means therefore. It is starting with the line Athato means therefore you should start asking question, who is God? Who am I? Why the word Athato? Because animal cannot ask this question. That's why we saw here Dharmasya hina pasubir narana. Remember this? We saw here. Dharmena hina pasubir samanam. If you do not follow dharma, you're animal. So animal cannot question about who am I, who is God. No. I got human life. I also don't question about the God or myself. Then you are also animal, right? I'm also animal. If you don't care about spiritual life, that is why Shastra say, my dear sir, now you got a human life, please inquire the question, who am I? Who is God? Atato Brahma Jignasa. Okay, clear. So now we understood that. Okay, now let me give a small summary. Now we understood that if we not take into spiritual life, you are animals. That we covered. If you take up spiritual life, you are not animal. That we covered. Then we understood that living body, dead body, some difference is there. Body is still there, so I cannot be body. If I am body, why they say I left the body? I cannot leave the body if I am the body. So I am not the body. They ruled out. Then we saw that one life only, the body is changing. So at that time also the body is changing. Why? Because I always seek happiness. I always seek happiness, right? So the soul seeking, happiness seeking entity, the soul, that is myself, we saw. Then we ruled out that we cannot be mind, we cannot be intelligence. Then we come to the point that we are soul. Now we'll go to the next thing, that the soul, that is myself, is covered by different layers. That is, you have to understand. The soul is covered by something called the subtle body, and another one is called gross body. This is gross body. You see this blue color, it is gross body. These three together, it is called subtle body. And this is me. Who am I? The soul. This is myself, the soul, who is covered by intelligence, and who is covered by mind, who is covered by ego, and then we are covered by gross body. It means, see how many layers of covering. So that is the reason we don't know who we are. Sometimes we are confused that we think that I am intelligence. Sometimes we think that we are soul. Sometimes we think that my mind. Sometimes we think that I am the important person, false ego. Sometimes we think that, oh, I'm gross body. Gross body means the body made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. This is our body. Our body is made of fire, right? We have fire in the body. And then we have water, we have earth, this is the earth. And then we have empty space, air. All the five things. This is whatever you see, external and internal, just like the bones, whatever you see. Whatever you see, that is gross body, including bones, including muscles, including blood, including urine, stool, everything. That is gross body. But apart from that, I also have some subtle factor which I cannot see. Yeah, correct. I forgot to cover one point. Last when I was talking about belief and faith, I was about to say one thing that like we also have other senses. Sometimes somebody say, have you seen soul? No, we also should feel soul. We also should feel the soul. So here the subtle body is felt. Do you have brain? If somebody asks you, do you have brain or not? Do you have mind or not? Do you have some emotions? They ask, do you have mind? Do you have emotion? People ask like that. Understand? So that cannot be seen, that can be felt. When you see someone is suffering for food, then you give them food, then I see your mind there. Then when you are trying to show your attitude to me, I see your ego. When I see your intellectual behaviors, I also see your intelligence. Actually, I don't see physically, but I can feel it. So subtle body is something that you cannot see. So soul is covered by the subtle body and then the gross body. Inside covering is subtle, outside covering is gross, like this. This man is having inner cloth and external cloth. Suppose this is soul and this is subtle body and this is gross body. It is covered by 2 layers. It is explained in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. Bhumira poranalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankaram idiyam me binna prakriti ashtata. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego, all together that 8 comprise my separated material energies. Krishna says earth, water, fire, air, ether. This actually talks about which body? Anybody can answer? This is which body? Anybody can unmute and answer this? Sorry?
Gross body.
Yes. So this is gross body. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. This comprise of gross body. And mind, intelligence and false ego, it is?
Subtle body.
Yes, subtle body. And all together that 8 comprise of my separated energy. Okay. This is all. This is myself. No. Krishna says, apareyam idastvanyam prakritim viddhima para jiva bhuta mahabhavo yatma dharete jagat. He says that beside this inferior nature, O mighty Arjuna, mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind which is all living entities, that is soul, who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. So the soul is Krishna's energy also, the God's energy. That is me. So soul is there, covered by subtle body and then covered by gross body. Okay. Now we come to that conclusion. Understanding the self is the primary necessity. That is a foundation. Just like a building you build, but the foundation is that you have to understand that who are you. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vidyanam, Adhyaya Vidyanam, Adhyatma Vidyanam, Adhyatma. Krishna says, of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. Adhyatma. You say, Prabhupada, when you go to my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Vishnupada, Paramahamsa Pariprajaka Acharya, Ashtodashaka. So a divine grace, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, he says that when he goes to any colleges, he challenges, is there any department that talks about the soul? No. Oxford University, Cambridge University, no. Nobody talks about the soul. Nobody talks about the soul. Everybody talk about how to eat nicely, sleep nicely, have sex nicely, how to mate nicely. That is what everybody says. All education is all about that. It means what? They are trying to produce the animalistic civilization. How you can get happiness there? How you can get happiness in animalistic civilization? That's why Krishna says, Vidyanam Adhyatma Vidya. The real science is the science of the self. So that's what we also say, that understanding the self is the primary necessity. That is why this is our first class. Even Krishna, when he started instructing Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, the first instruction given by Krishna to Arjuna is, you are not the body, you are the soul. There is a foundation. If you don't put the foundation properly, then the building will collapse. Okay, so now we understood that we are body, we are not the body, we are soul, right? And also the nature of soul, also we saw. Then now we talk about, we come to that next session, next module of the session, last one. There are three kinds of intelligence. There are three kinds of intelligence. It is called as EQ, IQ and SQ. EQ means emotional quotient. IQ means intellectual quotient. SQ means spiritual quotient. So EQ, we don't go to any scientific aspects and all. Don't worry about what is written there. I also did not see that. I just focus on these three things: EQ, IQ, and SQ. EQ means your emotional quotient. Just like how do you handle your emotions? See, basic thing is IQ. Basic is IQ. Suppose you are inside a building and building is getting burnt. Somehow the fire has caught up in the building. First you use your brain how to extinguish the fire. I should use water or I should use sand. The basic conclusion you have to come. That is IQ. Because some fire you cannot use water. That will increase, that will make it worse. Maybe I need to use some carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. That also you have to see. That is IQ. The next thing, EQ, emotional quotient. Maybe you have fear. Maybe you are nervous. You have intelligence. You know what to do. Right? You know what to do. But you are not capable of doing it because you are not very good in emotion. So it means IQ is important, intelligence is important, and more than intelligence, you should know emotion. You should know how to balance your emotions. More than that, you should also have spiritual intelligence. That what? I am soul. I am not the body. What is the duty of my life? What I should do? What I should not do? If you do not have that spiritual intelligence, then it is useless. It is also useless. If you have spiritual intelligence, then you talk about your intelligence, then you talk about your emotions. Otherwise, it is useless. No. So we talk about three intelligence. We advise you that you should have spiritual intelligence. When you have spiritual intelligence, then you understand that we don't need to waste our time in enjoying the body, because we are not the body. I am the soul. I am not only in my body, the soul is in every living entity's body. The tiger also, the lion also, the buffalo also, the zebra also, everybody, everybody, even the monkeys, elephants, all are souls. They are not the body. We come to that conclusion. Okay, so this is all we covered today. We covered that we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not the soul. We are the soul. Then we saw about the different changes happen in the body. Then we saw that the body is temporary. The soul, that is me, continues my journey birth after birth after birth. We saw that birth is not the beginning, death is not the end. Then we also saw that the three kind of bodies, not three kind of bodies, that two layers of body, that is subtle body and gross body. Gross body is made of this Panchapudha, fire, air, ether, earth, water, and the subtle body is made of ego, mind and intelligence, and the soul is inside, trapped. When you get a proper understanding, then you will gradually come out of the bodily conception. Then we also saw that the basic foundation is to understand that we are soul. Otherwise, if you do not know who am I, then we fight. I am Hindu, I am Christian, I am Muslim. We fight. Then we saw about three kinds of intelligence: EQ, IQ, SQ. Intelligence, emotions, and spiritual quotient. Okay, now the session is, we also saw that it is not only I am a soul, every living entity or soul, even the tree is also soul. We see that, right? Because we see the same pattern everywhere: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. The 6 levels of changes, emotions. Even see this mother is affectionate to its own calf. Just like this mother is affectionate to his own baby, just like this mother affected his own baby, she also affectionate her baby. Elephant also, even the zebra also. So that is intellectual quotient. When you come to intellectual quotient, then you surpass the other two layers. Then you can be suprasidati, happy. So now we cover today about the soul. Tomorrow we'll cover who is God. Then we'll cover about God tomorrow, because without knowing the self, we cannot talk about God. So tomorrow we'll see shastrically, logically, who is God. Now it's time for you. You can unmute yourself and ask if any questions.
Prabhu, can you explain the covering of the body again?
Okay, so the soul is covered by two layers of body, subtle body and gross body. Subtle body is something that you cannot see. You cannot see your false ego. You cannot see your mind. You cannot see your intelligence. You can see the brain, but you cannot see the intelligence. The brain is made of gross body, but intelligence is made of subtle body. Subtle means something I cannot see. I can only realize, I can only feel. That is the covering. The body has, the soul is surrounded by mind. And in other words, the soul is assisted by mind, assisted by intelligence, assisted by ego, assisted by the gross body which is made of fire, air, ether, earth, water. But you have to understand that these are not me. They are just my coverings around me. Then what you should do, you should try to come out of this concept. I'm not subtle body, I'm not gross body, I'm soul. So you should not think yourself mind, intelligence or false ego or this gross body. That's what we said. We gave example of this. One man is putting banyan, inner wear, and then he's putting external wear. I gave an example. Inner wear is like your subtle body, and this external wear is like your gross body. Clear? Any other questions? Anybody?
Prabhu, these you tell us this 3 IQ, SQ, and EQ. All of the living entity have this type of questions.
No, all living entities, or not all living entities. The lower living entities have, of course, emotion. Everybody has. Emotional quotient they may not have. It depends upon the growth. Just like the fish, just like the worms, they are not very advanced. They are not very intelligent. But the dogs, the cows, they are a little advanced in intelligence than the lower level of living entities. Just like the trees, they have no, even their emotions also not developed very well. Even if you cut them also, they'll be standing like this. So this is IQ, EQ, the living entities have some extents. That spiritual quotient is only for humans. It is not for animals. Other two things, animals may have. Some have. Everybody has, but it is only about the ratio, not equal level. The lower animals, they have lesser IQ, EQ, but the higher animals have, just like you're trying to trap the mouse, right? You're trying to trap the mouse. So we are cheating the intelligence of the mouse because we are having higher intelligence than them. Also, we are putting emotional quotient. Just like we are putting one coconut and then we are trying to get the rat. It is not emotionally strong. That is why the mouse is coming and they're trying to get trapped. So the IQ, EQ, this is animals have. But the spiritual quotient is only the humans. Only the human possesses this. Clear, Mataji?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Any other question? Anybody?
Prabhu, please check the chat box, Prabhu.
Yes, please. Let's check. Chat box. Okay.
Prabhu, you see the chat. Some people.
I'm seeing the chat. Dheeraj, soul is missing. Okay. Puja Mataji, because her heart is not working at bodily level. True. Srimad Bhagavatam 213. Gross, subtle. What is the difference between dharma and religion? Yes, this is the next verse, next class. Santosh, you're right. That is next sessions. We'll be in upcoming sessions. We'll be discussing about this topic, dharma and religion. and we'll be covering this. So you please wait for that. We'll be discussing very detailed about this. And Karthikeyan Prabhu, thank you Prabhu. What does the body, when does a body gets a soul? When any material body gets formed in mother's womb or sometime after the birth. No, it is not like that. I'll show you here. You are able to see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 31st chapter, verse number 1. Here you can see this. Is it big enough, or you want me to make it bigger? Okay. Karthikeyan Prabhu, you are there?
Yes, Prabhu. Visible.
You want to read the translation? This translation. You want to read this?
Yeah, I could read it, Prabhu. The personality of Godhead.
Please. Go ahead.
The personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of Supreme Lord and according to the result of His work, the living entity, the soul is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particles of men's semen to assume a particular type of body.
So when you eat food, when you eat the different grains and all those things, through your food, the souls enter your body, and that goes to a woman body in the form of the semen. So the soul is not entering, the body, but actually when the soul goes to a womb of a mother, the soul is giving power for the body to get formed. The soul is powerful. It's Krishna's energy. Then even before the body comes, the soul there. The body is getting developed for that soul. Then it is becoming like a plum. Then gradually, one by one, everything is coming. The growth is happening because of the power of the soul. Just like the dead body does not grow, dead body does not grow because soul is the one giving energy. Soul is the one who is giving power for the body to grow or whatever. That is why this actually, as you asked, the body is later on. First, depends upon its karma. Sometimes it goes to animal body, sometimes it goes to human body. That all we'll be covering later sessions. But here, at least, what we understand is that the body is, soul is entering to womb of the mother first. Then only the body is getting formed. Is your question clear?
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Aditya, thank you, Prabhu, for this wonderful session. Unfortunately, I have to leave now as my parents are called. That's okay. Poonam Pandit, Prabhuji, will it be correct to say that the gross and subtle bodies obstruct our understanding of the soul, the real self? That the purpose of human life is to go beyond them and have self-realization? Yeah. In your initial stage, I repeat the question. She's asking, wonderful question, Poonam Mataji. She's asking that whether this gross body and subtle body, will it obstruct our spiritual life or not, our understanding of the real self? Yes, in initial stage it obstructs, but when you conquer the right knowledge, that helps you. Just like I am talking to you with the assistance of my gross body and subtle body, you are also hearing this through your gross body and subtle body. I'm talking to you using my brain, intelligence, not brain, intelligence, and then my mind, and then through my tongue, using my body language, right? You are also hearing in the same way. But initially, when you are not getting the right knowledge, when you are not self-realized, at least theoretically, it will disturb you. Yes, of course, the disturbance is there. Disturbance will be there until you die also. But the more and more you spiritually, you becoming more stronger, and instead of disturbing, and they start supporting you. That is the thing. Poonam Mataji, is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Santosh. Thank you, Prabhu, for amazing session. Thank you very much. Anybody has any question?
Prabhu, actually, you told in lecture very earlier that we are the human beings, so we have the higher understanding. For example, our aim of life is not just the four things: producing children and shelter, food, and this type of things. But animals are staying in the earth only for these type of things. But some animals, I mean, for example, I saw some animals in Vrindavan mostly. For example, some cows, monkeys. If there is just some Bhagavatam classes happening or Harinam is there, and they enter in the temple or do something like that, they listen sometimes. Many of cows come there, they sit in the lectures. So, I mean, what they have the
No, Vrindavan is different. No, Vrindavan is a
inquiry or at my
spiritual place. So that is beyond our logics and understanding. Vrindavan cannot be understood by our gross or subtle body. It is the place beyond logics. So we cannot compare. Generally, animals have no spiritual understanding. Generally, but about Vrindavan, all the Brajabasis are Krishna's servants eternally. So Vrindavan, you cannot put into any of these rules and regulations. All of them are devotees in Vrindavan. Even the monkeys are devotees. Even the donkeys are devotees. Even the pigs are devotees. I mean, they are all assisting in Krishna's Leela, in a different way. So you cannot compare these animals in Vrindavan. They are transcendental. I mean, for the new people who are here, they may not understand this, but it is okay. If you don't understand, it is okay. You will understand. Even if you don't understand, it is all right. Do not try to understand this. If you understand, it is okay. So do not think about Vrindavan. Vrindavan is different. Otherwise, animals have no spiritual seeking capacities generally. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. I understand.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other questions?
So, Prabhu, the emotions and the sleeping is the type of the our is the type of the our body.
Who's asking? What's your name? Introduce yourself. Yes.
Vishwajit Prabhu.
Yes. What's the question?
My question is, Prabhu, the emotions and the nindra can affect our body.
Can affect the body?
Yes, Prabhu.
What is the meaning of affecting our body?
The subtle body or the covering of the body, the whole covering of the body.
Which one? Which is
Do
affecting?
you want to ask about something?
The question is not clear. I don't understand that.
I said the emotions affect of the covering of the body.
No, emotion is about intelligence, See, I was talking about, emotion is all about the mind. Emotion is mind's property. Mind is the one that is getting emotion. And intelligence also, intelligence and mind, it's mostly about the subtle body. The mind and intelligence together, they have this intelligent quotient and emotion quotient so this is the thing. So it is all, see, these are all about different intelligence. It's not about affecting or supporting. Suppose you go touch a fire, it will hurt you. Suppose you can use the same fire to get some light, that helps you. I mean, it is not about it is good or bad. It's about how you use them. It's not whether affect or not. It is not like that. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, these are all as obstacle for spiritual life in initial stage. When you grow further, that will give happiness to you. Okay. So if no other questions, we can stop here.
Prabhu, another last question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
There's a question in the chat box, Prabhu. Last question.
Last question, where is it? Shivakumar Prabhu. Okay. Shivakumar Prabhu is coming to second session. He's attended Tamil also. Prabhu, can evil things control our soul? Yes. You see, I mean, this is little advanced for this session, but I can tell you, I will show you this verse. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse number 7. Krishna speaks about it. It's a good question. Mamaivamso jivaloke jivabhutah sanatana manah shashtani indriyani prakristani karshati. In living entities in this conditioned world are my fragmental parts. Due to the conditional life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind. You see, Krishna says that we, soul, are part of Krishna. Just like the part, just like I'm part of my family. I live in my father's palace. If suppose my father has a palace, I live in the father's palace. Krishna is God, you know. Krishna says we are part of God. The God is the enjoyer. He is having everything within. And we are part of the God, then why we should suffer? Krishna answers this. Due to the conditional life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, including the mind. Because, they explain this clearly. This is what it is happening. You are here. It's you. And then you are covered by the subtle body and the gross body. And if you think that you are the gross body, then you suffer. It means when you are trying to keep your body safe, you are trying to keep your body happy, and then you think that you are trying to keep yourself happy, then you are getting into a wrong ladder. So I'm trying for my happiness. How do you get happiness? I'm trying to keep my body happy. How it is possible? Because I'm soul. By keeping the body happy, how you can keep the soul happy? It's 2 different things. But when you are in illusion, then we are disturbed by the good and bad deeds. We are when you think that your body, see, that due to conditional life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, including the mind. He's saying 5 senses. 5 senses means eyes, nose, this all. Then include the mind 6. But your question is that, do evil things control our soul? When you are in illusion, when you think that you are body, definitely those evil things will affect you. Just like good things will help you, and similarly the bad things also will disturb you. But when you spiritually advance yourself, then it won't get disturbed. The soul, when you get that knowledge that I'm not the body, I'm soul, then the evil things will not control.
The illusion like Maya, isn't it true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, illusion is Maya. So illusion is ignorance, Maya, everything. Maya is when you are ignorant, So Maya means something which is not. It's imaginary. Just like the shadow is not imaginary. The shadow has the hand, shadow has the leg, shadow has everything, but that is really not there. Similarly, if something, what is Maya? People think that, just like the Christians, they think that Satan, actually whatever they call as Satan, that is actually Maya. They are having a wrong conception of Maya, and then they call it as a Satan. Actually, Maya is not a difficult thing. Maya means when you do not connect something with Krishna, it becomes Maya. Just like the Zoom, just like this computer, just like this mouse and keyboard. Because I'm using in Krishna service, they are not Maya. If suppose I use all these to share some movies, watch some pornographies, then it is Maya. So Maya is not something is wrong or something. No, anything you does not connect with Krishna, it is Maya. Similarly, when the soul is to be connected with Krishna, God, when you connect the soul with Paramatma, Krishna, then nothing bad thing can affect you. But if you fail to do it, it is because of ignorance. That is Maya. Then the evil things will affect you.
Prabhu, Nindra is also Maya.
Huh?
Nindra or sleepiness is also Maya.
Everything is Maya. If you don't use in Krishna service. Okay, let us not go to that side. Yeah? Maybe you can ask later. Shivkumar Prabhu, is it clear, Prabhu? Shivakumar Prabhu, is it clear? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, it's clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, yeah, I told in a simple way, if anything is not connected to Krishna, it is Maya, in whatever it is. Okay, so anything else based on today's session?
So based on today's section, whatever body is connected, whatever body is happily is connected everything to the Maya. Something like that, Prabhu. What is my understanding?
Come again, what is that?
Okay, whatever is body is connected, like example like smoking, drinking, everything is Maya. Isn't it something like that?
No. I mean, of course, smoking, drinking is Maya, that is okay. But whatever connected to body is not Maya. But what we are saying is, whatever is not connected to Krishna is Maya.
Okay, got it.
Whatever you see, you should try to use it in Krishna service. Ena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveditau, that is Shastra. Whatever you see, you should try to utilize in Krishna service. If you do this, then it is not Maya. But if you are trying to do for yourself, Admendriya Priti, Tare Vancha Prema, Kama, Krishendriya Priti is Tare Vancha Prema. So when you are trying to do something to satisfy yourself, that is Maya. But we are trying to do something to satisfy the Lord, that is actually prema. That's why I give an example. This keyboard, or these my hands, my mouth, the tongue. I'm using my tongue to talk about Krishna. So it is not Maya. But suppose if we use this tongue to talk about some cinema star, it is definitely Maya. It's about your consciousness.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Bless them.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, so tomorrow we will also don't miss.
Prabhu, it's not Gusum Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, does the beings in the heavenly planets have good karma or bad karma?
Yeah, but we did not cover about karma today. So when we talk about that, we will answer, because this session is different, We are trying to take it in a different levels. So let us not go to the karma. People who are new, they will not understand this. So I will tell you privately the answer. So based on today's session, any doubts you can ask me. So because my idea is to take it to gradual way, so that when that topic comes, then it will give a clear understanding for you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Prabhu. So tomorrow session will be about realization of God. Who is God and what are the different ways of understanding God? Just like Brahman realization. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be going deep. This will be deeper tomorrow. We'll be talking about what is Brahman realization and what is Paramatma realization, what is Bhagavan realization, what is a different way to see the God. We'll be talking about that. Today, this basics. So we have to cover the basic stuff. So we covered the basics thing. Then we'll go to, without knowing self, you can understand who is God. So tomorrow we'll be discussing about God. That is the tomorrow session. Thank you very much. So we'll see you tomorrow by 7:45 p.m. and I will send a different link, not the same link. I will send a different link to you, so you can sign in the session. And 7:45 to 8 will be some introduction, like a briefing and question answers based on today's. Maybe one more thing is that the whole thing is recorded, and I will be uploading this tomorrow in our YouTube channel. I'll be sharing the link also. Those who want to revise it, you can revise it as many times as you want, and don't share it, because this is actually private meeting, because we want to get more people to enroll for this course personally. So you can see among yourself, share among yourself, and then see this, and then 7:45 to 8 we can you can ask all your doubts. Based on this we can answer it. Then 8 o'clock sharp we'll start tomorrow's session. Please be regular for these 7 days. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks again. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanand.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Hari
Thank
Bol.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dana pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. God
Hare
bless
Krishna,
you.
Prabhu.
Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu. Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranam.
Prabhu.
All
Dandavat
glories
Pranam.
to Srila.
Oh, Krishna Prabhupada.
Dandavad Pranam Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Thank you.
Prabhupada.
Jai Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.